Representative Nancy Pelosi was asked to comment on Trump's declaration that he is now taking hydroxychloroquine, a scientifically unproven drug, when it comes to treating the coronavirus. And her answer has gotten a lot of attention. Let's take a look.
Madam Speaker, what's your reaction to the president saying that he's now taking hydroxychloroquine? Are you concerned?
He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved by the scientists, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So I think it's not a good idea.
So there are two questions that need to be answered in this story. Number one, is Donald Trump actually considered morbidly obese? We'll answer that in just a minute. And the second question is it true that hydroxychloroquine is unsafe for people who are deemed morbidly obese? Let's start off with answering the first question. Honestly, to my surprise, Trump does not qualify as morbidly obese. According to The Guardian, Trump is 73 years old. At his last full checkup in February of 2019, he passed the official threshold for being considered obese with a body mass index of 30.4. Now, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, a BMI of 40 or above is considered severe obesity, which some also call morbid obesity. So he is scientifically, medically considered obese, but not morbidly obese.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead, Cenk.
And I got to jump in. Fact check there. That is based on Donald Trump's self-reported weight. I mean, he twists the arms of the doctors to say whatever he wants. One of his doctors admitted to completely lying and having Trump write the letter for him in an earlier instance. And in fact, today there's a story in the rundown that we're going to share with you later about a doctor from the White House putting out a questionable statement about Trump. But no one believes that that's his actual weight. But even based on that weight, the one that he fudged, he's obese. My guess is his real weight probably does get to morbidly obese because it's pretty easy to get there, honestly. I should know.
But the real question is, if you are morbidly obese, is it unsafe to take hydroxychloroquine? First off, let me just reiterate something that we've said repeatedly on this show. Hydroxychloroquine has not done well in clinical trials as a treatment for coronavirus. There are way too many health risks and side effects, including negative impacts to the heart, which is why in some clinical trials, they actually stopped using hydroxychloroquine because of how dangerous it was for the study participants. With that said, though, hydroxychloroquine is a drug that is prescribed to many Americans for lupus, for instance, or rheumatoid issues. And there are morbidly obese people who are prescribed this drug. It's just that doctors need to be careful in the dosage. So, for instance, one study indicated that hydroxychloroquine is actually stored in lean tissues and is largely excluded from fat. Therefore, dosing for hydroxychloroquine should be based on lean body mass. So when doctors are deciding what the dosage should be for, let's say, a heavy-set person, they will do the dosage based on their lean body mass as opposed to their actual body weight. That's the only clarification I wanted to make. Look, the reason why I'm saying this is because it's abundantly clear that Nancy Pelosi just wanted to call him fat. That's it. That's all that was. There's nothing else to it.
Man, you know, way to get there. Okay, of course that's what this is about. We don't need to do a poll on this one. Was Nancy Pelosi actually concerned about Donald Trump's health? Okay. No. So no, she was not. Now the real question at hand is, was that acceptable or unacceptable to call him morbidly obese on television? Well, this falls into a lot of different camps. This one crosses political boundaries because the resistance folks, the establishment people, love little shows of resistance by Nancy Pelosi that are completely substance-free. So if she claps like this or however she claps, right?
Rips up papers,
they're like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's brilliant. It's like the greatest thing that ever happened. She rips up paper. They're like, brilliant. Why? Because it doesn't affect anything. So Pelosi can do that all day long. And her donors are still thrilled with her because she's still helping Republicans pass bills, helping all the corporations, etc. So this is another one of those. So my guess is that the establishment folks thought this was just the best thing they've ever seen, right? And then there's the very sensitive left. I'm just keeping it real, and I'll put it like that, who are like, oh my God, what have you done? What have you done? It's fat shaming. Oh, it's like one of the worst things that's ever happened. It's a debacle of epic proportions. Okay, I'm in neither one of those camps, as usual. So I like that she took a little jab at him. I like any jab at Trump. Would it matter 1,000 times more if she actually blocked his Pentagon defense bill that was so overly bloated, et cetera? Of course, that would be 1,000 times. Is it better if she has a better stimulus bill? Of course, right? But I'll take the jab where I can get it. And of course, since I said that already online, I have been accused of fat shaming because I backed up Nancy Pelosi's insult to Donald Trump. I don't know if an overweight person can also be guilty of fat shaming. The rules are very complicated. I'm going to have to consult with a cancelologist or something along those lines to figure it out.
Yeah, look, I have no leg to stand on. I have fat shamed myself, specifically one person who I don't really respect as a human being. So I don't consider it fat shaming a human. But it was when I called Alex Jones a fat F. Okay. But anyway, I don't even want to get into that discussion because, look, for me, I get it. Like, it's nice to watch, especially female politicians, get under Donald Trump's skin. But I feel like at this moment in time, when hundreds of thousands of Americans are expected to lose their lives because of the incompetence in the response to this pandemic, I don't really want, I just desperately want to see some leadership anywhere, right? And we haven't seen that. Instead, this has kind of devolved into childish name calling and insults on television. And the latest example is Donald Trump's response to Nancy Pelosi. And here it is.
Last night, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi called you morbidly obese. I just wanted to know what you had to say in response.
Oh, I don't respond to her. I think she's a waste of time.
And then after calling her a waste of time, he said that he thinks that she has some mental health problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he can't help himself. I won't respond. Later, he couldn't help but go back. And it wasn't just once. He said like 2-3 times. She's sick. She has mental health problems. He always does projection. He has mental health problems. They should have used the 25th Amendment a long time ago. Anna, the reason that I like what Pelosi did, even though it's substance-free and I would greatly prefer a substantive response, especially in terms of legislation, is that at least we're getting a tiny bit past when they go low, we go so high, we float away in a cloud and are completely and utterly ineffectual. Maybe calling him fat will lead to calling him things that actually do matter and that they should call him, like weak, insecure, loser, pathetic, baby.
I like that. I really do think it would be effective in pointing out the ways in which he is just this sensitive, weak, pathetic person, right? Because he positions himself toward his base specifically as like this strong, nationalistic, America first type guy. But instead of constantly being outraged by him, and to be fair, he does outrageous things, he says outrageous things, that outrage only helps solidify the support he has among Republican voters. I think if you start dismantling this facade of strength and really show him for who he is, which is this weak little boy, that's more likely to be effective than constantly talking about how outraged you are or how aggrieved you are at his insensitive or offensive statements. Those statements only help to embolden and empower him.
Yeah. So if we're on the road to using effective strategy against him, which is undercutting his strengths, I mean, shockingly enough, still a huge percentage of the country thinks that he's smart, which is unbelievable, unbelievable. By now, 98% of the country should realize he's one of the 3 dumbest people in the country. So And the fact that they don't recognize that is a great failure of the Democrats, because they let him set the agenda and set the framing. We should be having a debate about whether he's top 3 dumbest guys in the country or top 5 dumbest guys in the country. And that has tremendous effect, as it has because it's real. And so that's among the reasons why he could not manage this coronavirus pandemic and why we've lost so many more lives than we needed to, because our president is deeply, deeply unintelligent.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.